Welcome back to the channel. If you are new here, my name is Brianne and this is Diary of a Homemaker. Today I have a very fun video for you. This is in collaboration with Aliya over at Open Doors, Open Hearts. We are working together to do somewhat of a Sunday kitchen restock, but make it seasonal. So she has taken on one project. You'll have to go check her out to see what she's doing. And then I am doing pears. So pears are truly the underrated fruit of fall. Last year I actually shared my maple pear scones, and I will leave that in the description box below. We are not making that today. I do have a couple of other different things for you. We have been so busy over here. I have been preserving pear sauce, pear jam, and cinnamon jam, and while we aren't sharing how to do these things, I do have a couple of other recipes for you that I know you're gonna love. And the first thing I want to work on together is making hand pies. So I actually got this little, I think this is actually a dumpling maker, but I got a set of 3 last fall, I think, for just like $1 or $2 at a garage sale. And I knew that I wanted to make hand pies. So I've done these, I've done mixed berry hand pies before, but I've never done pear hand pies. And part of preserving for me is preserving food in a way that some of the work is done now, and I don't necessarily have to preserve it as an ingredient. I can preserve it as a ready to eat something, and then I can just simply pull that something out and eat it later on. So instead of canning this as pear pie filling, I'm going to just go ahead and make the hand pies now, freeze them, and then I can just pull them out and bake them. It would be a great way to send snacks for school lunches. We can pull this out for a simple dessert. We can also just pack this in a bag whenever we need to go somewhere. So I'm very excited to share with you how I do this. This is the largest one, and we're just gonna go ahead and get started because I have made 16 pie crusts, and I'm not sure how much this is going to take, but I do have a pretty full pot of pear pie filling, and so we're just going to get started. Now, I did go ahead and grab a small bowl of water, and that is just so I can seal the edges, and I will be sure to show you how I do that. I also grabbed a cookie scoop. I think this is going to be the best way to be able to scoop out the pear pie filling in pretty equal measurements. And I have shared how I do my pie crust before. This is a recipe that freezes incredibly well. I have done this on a Sunday kitchen restock video before. I think I need to let it sit out for just a minute because it's wanting to crack. But this is what the cookie scoop looks like, and I think that will be the perfect amount. You don't want it to be so full that it is coming out of the edges. I've also found that a wide mouth mason jar, I use that as my guide, and I will punch it out like a cookie, and then you can lay it in here and then simply just fold it over and it fits perfectly. Okay, I guess I've used the medium one before because this is the one that fits this. I may actually have to just trace around this. I'm gonna see what this looks like. These may be just a little bit too small. Yeah, I think these are gonna be too small. See, there's way too much filling in these. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and fill this one. And I'm gonna re-roll this out. Okay, let's try this again. Oh yeah. So there is our first hand pie. I really want to hop on here real quick and just talk a little bit more about Aliya and her channel. She believes in a simpler, more intentional life is a happier life, and she shares all kinds of recipes, tips, and inspiration for made from scratch cooking, budget decor, DIY projects, and slow living as a whole. If you have enjoyed my channel, I really think you're going to love hers as well. I will be sure to link her video and channel below so you can be sure to watch and see what she's made. So I did get all of these pears from the Amish store. I have discovered produce auctions from the Amish this summer, as well as just purchasing fruit in bulk from them. And I actually have 2 more Amish hauls I plan to do, and I will be sure to bring you along for that. But today we are talking about pears. I ended up getting 2 bushels of pears, and I wasn't quite sure what that was going to look like because I've never purchased pears in bulk like that before, but it ended up taking me about 4 days to totally get done. It wasn't an all-day project, but it did take me quite a while. Luckily, pears are one of those things that you can kind of purchase, and if they're not ripe, you can let them sit for a little bit. So I did have some flexibility, but by the end, they were getting extremely ripe. So I don't know exactly how many pears it took me to make these hand pies, but it did take me about I did do about a full cast iron, and I just cooked it down and added some flour so it would thicken it. I did not follow any type of recipe. I am really bad about that. I'm really bad about writing down recipes or following recipes because I just kind of make things up as I go. But these turned out so good. We ended up with 3.5 gallon size bags of these, and we have already eaten 1 entire gallon bag. So good, and I actually kind of wish I would have done more, but I just added a couple holes on the top so it would have room to expand, and they cook up beautifully. I cooked them for about 35-ish minutes from frozen, and that was about perfect. But I did have some left over, and I thought this would be really great to make into a pear pie frozen yogurt. We do have a Ninja Creamy, and we absolutely love it. Probably one of my favorite kitchen investment tools. Just for fun treats. I'm kind of an ice cream junkie, and this just makes having frozen yogurt super simple, super healthy, and I don't feel any kind of guilt about eating it. I did just kind of layer these in so they were half and half, and we will be sure to enjoy these. I still had pie filling left over, and I used the rest to make into a breakfast cookie, and I will be sure to link that recipe below. I did use my mill, and I milled soft wheat berries. I know I have not shared a lot of that, but I'm hoping to finally share some of those things, but this recipe is delicious. And again, I have shared this recipe before on one of my Sunday Kitchen Restock videos. All that playlist will be in the description box below. And like I said, by the end of the pears ripening, they were extremely ripe. I ended up just putting the rest of them in the crock pot and cooking them down for about 24 hours. They did oxidize quite a bit, so that's why they do appear quite dark. But I did use my immersion blender and I blended this up quite thin. It was very smooth, and I wanted to try making fruit leather. Now, this is something I have done before, but I forgot to add the parchment onto the trays before adding on the pears, and it made it extremely difficult to get off. So while it did make for some delicious fruit leather, it was not pretty. And so I'm not sharing the final product with you, but it is delicious. It is like a fruit leather, and it is a great option if you're looking for something else to do with them. The rest of what I had, I ended up just putting into freezer containers and I froze, and we can just make some other fruit leather or use it as a pear sauce for a future recipe. Like I said, we did purchase 2 bushels of pears, and I spent several days getting those processed. I had to peel them and then soaked them in a lemon water solution to prevent some of the browning and the oxidation. But I think I'm going to actually do more next year. I love pears. They are probably one of my favorite fruit, and having them in season is just the most delicious treat. I really do hope that this video gave you some inspiration. Pears are still in season, so go get you some pears. Again, I hope you head over to Aliya's channel to go see what she's done with apples. It has been such a fun collaboration, and I really hope to do something else again in the future. If you are still here, thank you so much for being here. I really do appreciate you taking the time to watch these videos. And if you haven't already, I'd love for you to consider subscribing to the channel, as that really does just help push my videos to other people like yourself. Again, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.